Welcome to Cinema Bytes on CCP TV, the Emmy-nominated educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I'm your host, Amy Lewis. I'm an assistant professor of English teaching film studies here at the college. Cinema Bytes reviews issues and topics within classic and contemporary films. This series of episodes examines the film remake. We'll look at remakes from a variety of angles, considering how different elements and approaches affect the success and reception film remakes experience. In today's episode, we're going to look at Rob Zombie's 2007 version of Halloween, which was a remake of John Carpenter's 1978 horror classic of the same name. In our discussion, we're going to ask what impact Zombie's more is more approach to horror had on the story. Did Zombie take the film to the next level and update it for modern audiences, or did he just butcher it? See what I did there? John Carpenter's Halloween is a rare beast. It's a horror film that is critically respected. This is because what it lacked in budget, it made up for in creativity and vision. It was made for just $300,000, which was still laughably small in 1978. So Carpenter had to make a lot out of a little, but this led to some of the film's strongest assets. For example, the iconic piano score was written and performed by Carpenter, who admits he could just about play a keyboard and couldn't read or write a note of music. Yet the score, in its simplicity, is eerily effective, serving as Michael Myers' calling card. And speaking of Michael Myers, his infamous mask is nothing more than a rubber mask of William Shatner's face, spray-painted white, because that's about the best the crew could afford. But despite the shoestring budget, Halloween doesn't look cheap. In fact, it looks more believable because it makes the event seem like something that could really happen in a quiet suburb, as opposed to a slick alternative reality. So influential was Carpenter's vision that to date it is still one of the most profitable independent films of all time, and it is credited as being the first of the slasher films that would shape much of the horror films of the 1980s and 90s. Rob Zombie's Halloween took the slasher concept and ran with it. Blood gushes in every which direction, and the audience is spared no detail in witnessing how characters meet their grisly ends. For fans of Zombie's other gory films, such as House of a Thousand Corpses, Halloween delivers. But for those watching the film from outside of Zombie's niche, with Carpenter's Halloween in mind, the film falls short precisely because it tries to over-deliver. The first issue I encountered with Zombie's Halloween is that it feels the need to justify Michael's actions on some level. In the original Halloween, young Michael comes from a seemingly stable middle-class family. He does not seem to be abused, and he isn't suffering from any apparent trauma. He is just quite simply pure evil, as his psychiatrist will tell us repeatedly after Michael murders his sister and is placed into a state mental hospital. No one has done anything to provoke Michael, and there are no warning signs of his attack. He just becomes a murderer in an instant. Let's watch.
Michael?
As little Michael stands there, bloody knife in hand, with a dazed look on his face, it is clear something within this child, not an external motivator, has led him to kill. This is seconded by his parents, who are confused to see their son with a bloody knife, but obviously haven't even thought to make the connection that this blood could belong to their slain daughter, or else they'd be rushing to get help. Michael has snapped for no good reason, and no one saw it coming. The same cannot be said of little Michael Myers in the 2007 remake. This Michael is being viciously bullied at school, and his family life is anything but stable. His mother is a stripper, which I guess the film is saying makes a child more prone to turn to murder, and she spends more time fighting with her boyfriend than she does being there for Michael. Up until this point, Michael has expressed his anger through cruelty to animals, but after a nasty run-in with a bully, Michael snaps and murders the bully in the woods. When his older sister reneges on her promise to take him trick-or-treating so she can have sex with her boyfriend instead, Michael is enraged again and murders his entire family, aside from his mother, who is out working, and baby sister. Here's a taste of his home life and then his murder of Judith.
Jesus Christ, Ronnie, you know I have to fucking work tonight. Somebody around here has got to make some money.
I'm all broken up here, bitch. I can't work.
Yeah, and whose fault is that?
Fuck you.
Oh my God, you're pathetic.
You know that new waitress over at the bingo lounge? She can give me the freaky eye.
Oh, the whore with the big tits hanging down to her knees?
Maybe I'll choke the chicken, purge my snorkel all over them flappy-ass tits.
Good, we'll have a good fucking time.
I will.
I hope she likes cripples.
Bitch, I will crawl over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you.
Oh, I'll get the crutches for you. See what you did, fucking loudmouth.
That's all that fucker does is cry. Crying shit, crying shit.
Just like you, that's all you do is cry and
Fuck you and sit it on my pole right now, bitch.
fuck off.
Mom?
Can't you see I'm making eggs over here?
Yes.
Since when?
Since now. They're chicken abortions and they're fucking gross.
They are not chicken abortions.
You know what an abortion is.
You know what? Can you please go upstairs and get your brother?
Why do I always have to do it?
You know, just do it. Don't you give me that look!
Man, that bitch got herself a nice little dumper.
What did you just say?
You heard me.
No, say it again, Ronnie. Say it to my face.
Oh, what's the matter? You jealous of your own daughter's ass, huh?
Pig.
Ah! You fucking whore! All right, now clean it up. Come on.
I can't do this anymore.
Michael. Stop jerking off in there.
Get away.
Hey, get your ass downstairs and wash your hands, you little shit. I'm not listening!
Let me tell you something, that freak of yours, he needs some serious discipline. I mean, he runs around like a little bitch.
You know, you leave him alone. Keep your hands off him.
Give me a fucking break. He's probably a queer. He's gonna grow up, end up cutting his dick and balls off and changing his name to Michelle. There he is. Good morning, Michelle, my belle.
What the hell took you two so long?
Elvis died. I had to flush him.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry. We'll get you a new one after school, okay? Okay.
What'd you do to him? Stroke him to death? Elvis.
You know, it's a fucking rat. Who pays money for a fucking rat? I mean, it's a goddamn rat, man.
Morning, Boo.
Morning, Boo. Take that damn thing off. You are starting to annoy me, boy.
I hate you.
And I hate you too. You see this? As soon as this heals, I'm gonna break it again on your fucking face.
Enough, all right? Can we just eat in peace for once?
Michael? Michael, what the fuck are you doing in here? Answer me. Michael? Michael! Answer me! What the fuck? Michael! Answer!
In the original, we do not see Michael's family dynamic, but we can infer from the orderly house and civilized demeanor of his parents that things are stable for Michael. Carpenter doesn't show us the Myers as a family unit to make it clear they are not to blame for the way Michael turned out. Zombie, on the other hand, wants to make it very clear that Michael has been a psychopath in the making. Had he been born to a better family, things might have turned out differently, but since he wasn't, people will die. For me, this removes a lot of the horror from the film. Sure, we get to see a lot more deaths and a lot more gore, but to my mind, a person snapping out of nowhere and killing for no good reason is far more terrifying because it can't be explained away. Here, Zombie falls into the trap so many of today's horror films do, psychoanalyzing and diagnosing its villain. We have to know what precipitated these events and what the characters are thinking and feeling. It may answer a lot of questions for us, but sometimes answered questions remove the terror. Sometimes people are just born bad, and the randomness of that is, from my perspective, far more frightening than a puppy who's been kicked one too many times biting back. And that puppy doesn't stay puppy-sized for too long, which brings me to my second complaint about Zombies Halloween. Michael Myers is too big. In the original film, Michael is a man of average size who is capable of summoning great strength as a result of his evil. He is unremarkable looking aside from his peculiar mask, but since it is Halloween, even this blends into the surroundings. Michael can calmly go about town plotting and executing his massacre because no one would think twice about seeing someone his size walking around. Only those who run into Michael at the wrong place at the wrong time find out just how powerful he really is. In this clip, Bob, a young man headed down to the kitchen for a post-coital beer, runs into Michael Myers with deadly results. Notice how Bob and Michael are roughly the same size. It should be a fair fight, but Michael is strong enough to lift Bob with one arm and stab him so forcefully with the other that Bob is stuck to the wall by the knife that impales him. Watch this clip to see what I mean.
Annie? Paul? Linda, you asshole. Okay, Linda. Come on out.
In the 2007 remake, Michael is large, very large. Zombie chose to cast a 6'8" professional wrestler, Tyler Mane, to play Michael as an adult. The result is a series of not very suspenseful deaths. After all, is anyone surprised that a giant, super muscular man can win every fight he gets into? See if you agree.
Get me another beer.
You get it. I'm the one that just did all the heavy lifting. All right, I'll go. So seriously, on a scale from 1 to 10, 7.5?
How about
0.
More like 0 plus 11.
dude?
Nothing much.
Oh, what's wrong?
I was just thinking about what Annie said earlier today concerning my so-called cheerleading incident. I don't know, it's kind of bumming me out.
Dude, look for all the empties.
You don't think that, do you?
Linda, I don't think you're a slut. Come on, it's ridiculous.
I don't give a shit what Annie thinks anyway. But I care what you think.
Aww.
Michael overpowers his opponent in both films, but I find a man of average size, made strong by a deeply rooted evil, far scarier than a giant winning every fight because he's big. Where's the shock of watching a 6'8", 300-pound guy, and I am not exaggerating, those are his official wrestling stats, taking down everybody in his path? Who in their right minds would even get into his path? The minute Michael Myers stops being unassuming, he stops being scary. Another shortcoming in the remake of Halloween are the changes made to the character of Loomis. In the original, Loomis is the only one who sees Michael Myers for what he is, pure, unadulterated evil. For this reason, he devotes his life to keeping Michael away from the rest of the world so he can't kill again. He is in tune with Michael's baser motivations because he knows not to consult a textbook or case study to understand Michael. Listen to how chilling his words about Michael are as a result.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
What do we do?
He's been here once tonight. I think he'll come back.
In the remake, Loomis is just a psychologist dealing with a patient. He is able to speak about Michael in clinical terms, and he can't wait to move on and cash in on his high-profile client with a book deal. This new Loomis's interpretation of Michael roots Michael too deeply in the scientifically explainable, which is far less frightening. Sure, the news of a homicidal psychopath the size of a Mack truck on the loose would make us all feel a little uncomfortable. But his diagnosis having a textbook terminology leads one to believe that he can be dealt with by the right professional, and his movements can be better predicted. The gravitas with which Loomis speaks about Michael comes from the desire to sell more books and secure more speaking gigs, not the genuine fear Loomis held in the original. Take a look.
These eyes will deceive you. They will destroy you. They will take from you your innocence, your pride, and eventually your soul. These eyes do not see what you and I see. Behind these eyes, one finds only blackness, the absence of light. These are the eyes of a psychopath. Michael was created by a perfect alignment of interior and exterior factors, gone violently wrong. A perfect storm, if you will. Thus creating a psychopath that knows no boundaries and has no boundaries.
This retooling of Loomis from a man more perceptive than his profession, whose life's mission it is to keep Michael from killing again in the original, to an opportunist bound by the logic of his profession in the remake, takes a major component out of the storyline. Michael's inexplicable evil and Loomis's fear of it drive the stakes of the eventual manhunt through the roof in the original. When Michael becomes just another escaped psychopath, though, Halloween goes from being a groundbreaking genre creator to another cliché horror film. My final issue with 2007's Halloween is its reliance upon gore and violence. I know it sounds odd to complain about a horror film being too bloody, but it is possible for a film to be more disgusting than it is scary. And while Carpenter knew the difference, Zombie didn't. In the original, Michael racks up quite the body count, working his way through town until he can get to his long-lost sister, Laurie. What Carpenter knew, though, was that the anticipation of someone being killed is far scarier than the actual sight of it. Each of Michael's kills has a long build-up, full of false alarms and near misses. When he does eventually strike, we see very little of the murder taking place. We don't need to, because we've already had plenty of scares along the way. Watch this.
Hello? Who's there? Paul, is this one of your cheap trips? Guess not. No tricks for Annie tonight.
Finally got one.
We found a flying saucer.
Oh, Lindsay, get the phone. It's Paul. Lindsay! Lindsay! Oh, don't hang up.
Where do you figure it's from? I don't know, Mr. Scott.
Hello?
From this planet?
Hi, Lindsay. This is Paul. Is Annie there?
Here she is.
Get her for me, will you?
She's washing her clothes.
Look, just tell her it's me, okay?
Okay.
What a story. Hey, Barn. Hold it, Scott.
Annie, Paul called!
Ow!
You locked yourself in.
I know. can no longer stop. Really fall. My fault.
In the 2007 remake, however, Rob Zombie spares no gore. Blood and violence are not implied, and we know in great detail how Michael's victims die. It makes for uncomfortable viewing, sure, but there is no build-up, no tease. Zombie goes right into the attack and lingers there, mistaking gory for scary. Take a look. Overall, Rob Zombie's 2007 remake of Halloween just doesn't live up to the original. Whereas the original created a new genre with its suspense and terrifying premise, the remake opts for shock and gore over story and innovation, and the end result has the audience watching through their fingers, not out of fear but disgust. If this were a gross-out contest, Zombie would win hands down. But if the question is who packs in more scares, Carpenter is the indisputable champion. Well, that's all the time we have for today. You've been watching Cinema Bytes on CCP TV, the Emmy-nominated educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I'm your host, Amy Lewis, Assistant Professor of English. Thank you for joining us, and keep an eye out for the next big film debate. See you next time.